now, and I've had some like hash brownie bits, and I feel like that's like my calorie intake for the day, you know. But but maybe later because that looks nice.
Game begin.
So hi, I'm Maya.
Hi, hello, my name is Tekle.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about BT Apprenticeships and kind of like the role that you do. So how did you first hear about BT Apprenticeships?
First time I've heard about apprenticeship is I was always going to go to uni, but first time I've heard about apprenticeship was I thought it was something catchy about them because
Yeah.
you know your degree is paid, you know you still get work experience and you still go to university, everything. And then when I found out, I was quite amazed. And then when I was doing my A level, I was trying to apply to as many as apprenticeship available, and BT was one of them. So I applied for BT as one of the apprenticeships that I applied for.
I know that university is like more of the traditional route. I think
It is,
when
yeah.
you are a school leaver, you are kind of pushed down the uni route, but then actually sometimes you can end up with quite a lot of debt at the end, and because you don't really have the industry experience, it can be quite hard to get a job at the end.
True.
So I think that's what's really good about kind of apprenticeships and at BT as well, or wherever, is that you have that kind of on-the-job experience, but then you also kind of get the university side as well.
Yeah, I think as well at school it's not pushed, like students are not pushed to do apprenticeships. For example, if you see universities, you do have UCAS, and everyone has to do the UCAS form. And for apprenticeships, it's all up to you, like how you want to do it, how you manage it. There is no any sort of managed website or like to look for apprenticeship. So I think as well, like the schools, if they were to work hard for students to go to apprenticeship, it would be much easier for students to understand and go for that route.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like everyone chooses the traditional route to go to university, I think.
And let's talk a little bit about your journey into apprenticeship. So prior to this, you said that you were doing A-levels. Did you do any specific A-levels to prepare you for your apprenticeship?
Yeah, so I did my A-levels in physics, chemistry and maths.
Oh, okay.
So-
Intelligent.
I wouldn't say so, but I've done those three subjects, and I was quite interested, in solving problems. I was good in physics and maths,
Yep.
and as good as in chemistry as well. And then I was always looking for I feel like I'm good at work, hands-on experience. And when I've heard about apprenticeship, I knew apprenticeship was the way for me, to integrate to work as well as get the experience, personal development, everything. So I applied for. I was applying for different opportunities and apprenticeships, and it set me up to get to BT.
Yeah, so some of the skills that you learn throughout your A-levels have kind of transferred into your apprenticeship. But do you think that's necessary? You have to do A-levels to be able to be an apprentice?
No, I think you don't. But at least it gives you, for example, if you see solving problems when you do maths or physics or chemistry, you find the solution without seeing the route how you get to the solution. So that gives you the opportunity or gives you the skill solving problems. For example, now in my role, I am in Network Operations Center where we diagnose customer service, trying to maintain and manage customer service, and that solving problem from school is still applicable in my role right now. So I think whatever you do at school is really relevant to in apprenticeship or a workplace, I think. Yeah.
So let's kind of look at a day in the life. So 9 a.m, you've logged on or you're in the office. What does your day look like?
My typical day would be go 8 o'clock. If there is
Early bird.
Yeah, I know it's 8 o'clock. In summertime it's okay because the sun
wakes
comes
you
out.
up
Yeah,
naturally.
yeah. But in winter time it's quite early. But you get to finish 4 o'clock, which is much fun as well. So Once I come in at 8 o'clock, log in and check my emails, and if there is handover from shifts, so there is shifts within the operation center. Shift people, when they leave, they hand over notes if they do have any incidents or follow up. So I catch up with shift, and then I start logging in and try to pick up tickets from the system. So the ticket system, some of them easy, it takes you 15 minutes, half an hour. Some of them is major service outage, so it might take you all your day.
Something more serious.
Yeah.
So your day, from the sounds of it, your day is different each day, depends on what tickets are raised or what's actually happened on the shift.
It is, yeah.
Before. And what did your application process look like when you first applied for BT? Was there several stages, or was it just kind of like an interview? How did it work for you?
So, I said when I was doing my A-level, I was applying for any apprenticeships that I found. So I was quite lucky to get offered 5 other apprenticeships, including BT.
Wow.
I had 5 other degree apprenticeships that was offered. Even some of them was unconditional offer. It doesn't matter what grade I get, but
You're in demand.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was hard to decide when I got these 5 other opportunities. But as I said, I was just constantly applying for any opportunities, and I think it gave, and I also had some rejections, and I think that gives me the interview process, what I need to prepare myself, what to look forward, and I think out of these applications that I have done, I find BT was the easiest. The only reason being the first day I was going to apply, they've asked me CV and the qualifications that I had, and automatically it was online interview where somebody just asks you online, and then you answer.
Some places have some pretty lengthy application
do.
processes, don't they? I know that when I was first applying, some of them were like 10 stages long, and I think that the longest BT really offers is around 5
6
steps, and that's inclusive of CVs and things like that. So I think in hindsight, it's a more of a simple process than others.
And also, I think some others, what they do is they do give you a test, which I don't think that tests your smartness, or you are able to do the job. But
Your
it
ability,
just,
yeah.
it doesn't test you anything. But if you fail that, you don't get through the
To
process.
the next stage.
Yeah, but BT doesn't have that. It's straight, who you are. It's just asking you who you are. A bit about you, what you've done, whether you work as a team, those common questions that you get, and then assessment center, which collaborate with other applicants.
Yeah. You mentioned that you also got 4 other offers. What made BT stand out for you, and that's why you chose BT?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I think I was always interested in communication. I mentioned earlier, I came back home from Eritrea, which is miles away from here, and I communicate with my family through phones. And I was quite interested, how things are connected, how we can communicate from here to somewhere in the world. Right. So I was quite interested how the business was working together, and how students and schools were running on Teams or Zoom, and BT was looking after this all infrastructure. So I was quite interested how things were connected. I had other options in Ipswich as well, but as I said, that communication between with your family, friends.
It aligned with kind of your goals and what you were interested in, I guess.
It did, yeah.
And I know that you mentioned earlier that you moved to the UK in 2018. How easy did you find it to kind of build connections and make friends with people?
I wouldn't say it was easy. It was quite hard. When I came to UK in 2018, I didn't have good English. It was little English. And I had 2 years gap in education. So quite quickly I had to, learn quickly and do my GCSE A-levels. And the opportunity wasn't there. I had to fight for my opportunity. For example, when I came in, I don't know if you heard of, but I did ESOL class, which English as a second language. Right. So because my English wasn't good, I had to go through that process. After that, I then applied for GCSE to do GCSE, but in the UK, as you know, the age restriction, I wasn't eligible to go to do GCSE. So
Right, okay.
basically, there was only one school which offered, like, people who failed their GCSE, they can retake them to do well on the second GCSE. So even though I haven't had any GCSEs, I had to go to that school to do my GCSEs, and that was 2020. So, and COVID hit, and it was quite challenging, you know, with still learning English as a second language and those subjects. And then I quite did well on my GCSEs, and I was offered full scholarship in independent school to do my A-level, and then, you know.
You've done a lot then in that time period, haven't you? You've done your GCSEs, you've done your A-levels,
Yeah.
all that being in a second language, and then now on the apprenticeship scheme. So how did you find that kind of taking on like the extra English classes and things like that has helped your communication in your current role?
I think yes. So you know, I also speak quite a few languages, and when I came here, I knew education was the route for me to integrate and, you know, to communicate, be able to do well in my life. The first thing was education. So I was always pushing to be in that ladder, and I was quite lucky to get these opportunities. There is people that who haven't had these opportunities who could have done better, but I was lucky to be, you know, to get these opportunities. And also throughout my journey, I really appreciate, you know, schools and teachers. They've always been, you know, helping me to go through this journey. It wasn't only me; it was a lot of mentors, a lot of, you know, from school teachers. I think that's what led me to go and do well in my journey, I think.
Yeah. So in terms of kind of balancing different opportunities that have arisen in BT, how did you find balancing kind of university or coursework with your day-to-day role?
Yeah, so sometimes balancing both work and education might be a bit challenging, but throughout my, you know, apprenticeship, you know, my line manager is quite keen for me to develop, and, you know, gives me, you know, heads up, or, like, you know, gives me extra time. Also, I get study day to, you know, develop in my personal and professional development. And I think also working with people, he is constantly, you know, offer apprenticeship. There is always year above me, so if there is any sort of, like, you know, unclear or any support that I needed, they are always there for me, you know, to give me hands wherever I struggle. But I think, yeah, that's how I manage.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for mentorship within BT, which I think is really useful. When you go into somewhere completely new, I think sometimes it can be a little bit daunting. But actually, what I found at BT is that there is always people that are willing to help and help you kind of develop, learn, progress. Good. You can have your beat now. It's